So I remember when you walked in the room, it was a little while after I got there with Jack, and I just remember the nurse standing off in the back, just letting me be reconnected with Jack and trying to reconnect, and her sobbing. And I truly, I've told her to this day, I appreciated the tears and the honesty. I think if we walked back into the floor and everyone was just cold and stark, it would have been a lot harder. I think it's often instinctual to, be strong for the family and hold back the tears, but in this case, it was a lot more comforting to me to just see, and so I could be real too. So I remember you walked in the door shortly after and hugging you and processing that with you, and knowing that, I guess thinking about maybe what you were feeling is, I lost a child, you lost a patient, and here's this other child here that needs to be cared for. There wasn't, ironically, in my mind, a question that I needed to switch doctors. A lot of people have asked me that over the last 6 years since Joseph died. Well, so your child died and your other child's in this hospital bed and you stayed with the same doctor? Like, isn't that...
I have asked you that.
Right. Isn't that like, that's something's wrong with that? But I think it goes back to the whole, what the goal is. And that's the whole piece, that is the doctor's job to save the child. Is that always the outcome? Or is it a much more multifaceted job? And I found the latter, and I never saw his team or your job was to save the child. That comes back to our goals and our values, and it was to give our child the best quality of life possible. And I'd be lying if I didn't say that did I want my child to live? Yes, of course. And I would do anything to make that possible. And it took me a long time to realize that survival wasn't goal. It was quality of life. It was how much did he live in those years.
In that first month, I was wishing that they picked another doctor, that somehow I had failed them and failed Joe, and that Joseph would be alive had we decided to go down a transplant route a year before. And what did we miss, and how come we didn't list him, and what was he, what piece were we not understanding? And since then, Jack's given us a lot of hints around understanding that, actually, but also being kind to myself and my team around that other path. Well, maybe he would have gotten transplanted at age 4 and died from infection before he was 5, and then actually his life would have been shorter. And so you can't actually Monday morning quarterback yourself just because you don't like the outcome, because there is so much uncertainty and so much mystery around it. And I think that takes a lot of kindness and processing on the physician side. And when the physicians don't do that, then they really do start to feel responsible and actually can't walk families down other alternative pathways. So it was definitely a very important turning point for me to be able to take care of Jack, and between the two of us, making sure that anxiety around them being similar and really understanding their differences, also in order to keep him safe and each other sane.
Right.
And I think that is all you and Scott. Many couples will go through this and then have so much anxiety about their next child that they can't allow that child to have any kind of life. And I would say that Kate and Scott have in this incredible way, allowed Jack to have his own story and his own life and his own amazingness every single day. And that included, handing him over to the operating room to get a new heart, not knowing whether that was actually going to change anything or whether that was even going to work. And so I think, the way this particular family did this particular road, I think really has taught me how to be a better doctor.